Hello, I'm DeathSeeker512, and in today's tutorial I will be showing you how to create a basic block. Now, the first things first though, in the reference class that I have made in the previous tutorial, you are going to need to change this text location from DeathSeeker512 or no, to whatever you have it as, and then add mod ID. Now I was just debating which one I should use, but yeah, mod ID. And then save that. And tutorial. Now let me talk about what's changed between the Minecraft versions 1.5 point whatever and 1.6. You cannot create blocks if you want them to have a texture within the init within this method. It all has to be done in this method. Now, with that said, let's begin on creating the block. Now, I will also be using a bunch of different reference files, like actual classes that we make that we're referencing a lot of stuff from, just to clean up this a little bit. But anyways, so you hit tab here, and under pre-init we are going to need to create a configuration file. So, and let me just minimize this. So configuration config equals new configuration, and then event dot get suggested configuration file. Oh no, I hate this. And insert. There we go. And so what this does is it creates after you import it, and then you want to import net.minecraft.common.configuration. Anyways, what this does is it creates a file on the hard disk, pretty much just named your mod name and then .cfg. Now the next things that we have to do with config is config.load and then config.save. And so then it'll load it up and then save it. Now with that said, let's start creating some of our other, the block handlers class that's going to be handling all the blocks. So create a new class and then call it block handler, and then hit finish. In the block handler, we're going to have a couple public void, what are they called? Methods. I don't know why I couldn't think of method, but so public void register blocks, and then this is going to need, of course, the game registry, and then I'm just going to call it registry, and then import that. Then I'm going to create another one, public void set names, and then this is going to use the language registry. Again, you can call it registry. And import that as well. And some of the source code I'm going to be referencing it off of a mod I've got already, which actually I don't even have over here, just because I have a hard time remembering some things. So I'll be back in a minute. And I'm back. And so another one we're going to need is public void and configure blocks, if I could spell, and this is going to need that configuration file. And I'll just call it config, and then import that as well. Again, net.minecraft.common.configuration. So then I'm going to format that and save it. And let's create our block class. So new Java class, and I'm going to call this tutorial block and finish. Now inside this tutorial block, we're going to have to make it extend, and then block, and then import that from net.minecraft.block.block, and then of course add the constructor, and change the variables so that you can actually understand them. Like that. Anyways, there's not really much else I want to throw in there. I don't know. Let me check. Never mind. I won't check. Anyways, and because we are actually, if you're probably going to have more than one block, you might as well put this in the blocks. Yeah, package, and then refactor it. You can just click this, and then move it into that package. And now it's in the blocks package. You can save that, and then you are going to need @side only, and then side.client. And so what this does is what this up here does is saying whenever we create the block, it's going to need two parameters. It's going to need the block's ID and the block's material. Now, what this annotation here is saying is the only side that this should be, this next thing we're going to put underneath it, should be called is only if the client side is, well, there. So I officially have no clue what I was saying whenever I did the reference. Okay, so for the text location, we don't even really need that for now. It's just going to be the mod ID. So public void import those, and then override public void register icons. Okay, and then icon register then import that as well, and then if this dot block icon is equal to null, which means if the block icon isn't there, it's not existent, then we are going to do block icon equals register dot register icon reference dot mod ID plus that plus this in parentheses this dot get unlocalized name dot substring 5. Of course, we don't know what the unlocalized name is yet. However, we will eventually whenever we actually create the block really soon. because this is just a class for the block, right? It's not really the block itself. So now if we go back into Control Shift S, but anyway, the block handler class, we are going to make a public and then block, and then the name of the block, I guess, that we're going to be making, tutorial block in this case, with a lowercase l there, and then import block. Now import net.minecraft.block.block, same thing as this was extending. And in configure blocks, we are going to do, what was it? Oh, duh. Tutorial block equals new tutorial block, but this time it's the class, and then the constructor requires us to give it an ID and a name. So so the ID is going to be config dot get, and then the category, and I'm just going to name the category blocks. The key, so what how we're going to get the block's name, or sorry, how people can see the block. So I'm just going to do tutorial block, and then for the default value I'm just going to set it to 3000, and then dot get int, comma, material dot rock. So what we've gotten so far is we create the block, well, instantiate it, tutorial block, give it a an ID, which is this part here, and then tell it what the material is. Alright, but we're still not done. We actually have to give it an unlocalized name. So dot outside of the parentheses dot set unlocalized name, if my touchpad would stop backing up, and then to the name of the block. So tutorial block. Actually no, the set creative tab, and then creative tabs dot tab block. So what this does is it says, okay, so we create the name of the block that Forge is going to use with it, and then we put it on a creative tab. Now I'm just formatting it, saving it, and that's pretty much what we've got there. Now under register block, we're going to have to do registry.register block, and then the block is going to be what was it? Tutorial block. Actually, that form of it is wrong. So register block, then we're going to need a block and then a string for the name. So then the block is going to be tutorial block, and the name is going to be tutorial block dot get unlocalized name. Oh, whatever, it's super easy to type. Tutorial block. There. And then language registry, we're going to have to do pretty much the same thing, except registry dot add name, which is down here, and then the object name is going to be tutorial block, and then the name is going to be the human readable version of the name. So this, for tutorial block, it's obviously going to be tutorial and then block. There. Now we just have to call all of these. There. Now that I can say it, within config load and save, we just have to do block handler dot did we actually put public? Yeah. I'll be back in a second. Okay, we're not done. In block handler, we have to make all of these static first of all. So static void and of course I guess this would also be static, because throughout every instance it's going to be the same. Hoping. So block handler dot, there we go, configure blocks config. That was simple. And then underneath here, block handler dot register blocks, and for right now, new game registry, and then import that, and then block handler dot set names, new language registry, then import that, save it, and we have successfully created the block. Now if we run Minecraft in the modded version of it, there we go. Yeah, okay, so I'll be back whenever the game's up. Still not used to this computer, it only took a second. And then I'm going to create a new world. It's going to be creative, and I'm just going to call it tutorial. Yeah, and then create new world, and I'll give it a second. Okay, so yeah, this one I'll be back whenever it's done. It's done. Yay. Okay. Now I hit E and go over to the blocks tab. Actually, we're already in the blocks tab, and go all the way down to the bottom. We have tutorial block. Now, I don't know why it's doing that. It so shouldn't even have that. What? That's funny. Anyways, but obviously it doesn't have a texture. I don't know what. Oh. Huh. It gave it like clay. I'll be back in a minute. Oh, whatever. Anyways, now we have to actually create a texture for it. So if you go to modeling, if you don't go to modeling, if you open up anything like GIMP is what I use. But did it say? giving missing texture. Okay, let's look for a warning. Warning, this mixing pack.mc edit file, things may not work right. Reloading resource manager. Okay, actually I'm going to look at this for a minute. Okay, thanks for being weird. Anyways, I'm going to do file, new, and it's going to be a 16 by 16. And I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to grab the bucket fill tool after I set the color, and I'm going to zoom in. I don't know how to zoom in with a touchpad. There we go. And I'm just going to do it one color. Then I'm going to grab the airbrush tool, dark color, darker color. Oh, it's still dark color. And I'm going to set this to like 5. Aha! And go insane. A much lighter color. And dark again. And it's done. File, export. And then go to where your mod's at. And resources. We're going to have to create a new folder called assets. And then create another folder, and then your mod name thing. And then I'm going to create another folder, textures. Create another one, blocks. Create another one, and call it nothing because we don't create another one. Whoops. Anyways, and then tutorial block.png. And export. Now tutorial block.png is actually where we got that. So now if I rerun Minecraft, I'll be back. No, I'll just wait. Hello Minecraft. Okay then. Single player, playing this again. And as you can see here, we still screwed up somewhere. I will be back in like 10 minutes. Or maybe longer. Okay. I have no clue what I did, so I'm just gonna go through every thing here. I got rid of the if statement. I know that one for a fact, but that I don't know why that would have done it. I did space that out. Again, don't know how that would. I haven't even saved this. Wow. Oh well, because I just did something. Okay, never mind. So yeah, like that. On block handler, this is how everything stands. Nothing changed. Didn't touch any of the proxies. Reference didn't change. Tutorial didn't change. Maybe it just actually found it. I don't know. But in assets, tutorial, textures, blocks, yeah, that works. So now if we run this, I don't know, if this didn't work for you at all, let me know and I will actually work with you to get through the I still have no clue what I did, but now if I go in single player and I'll play this, you can see that the block actually has a texture to it. Now, granted, it's not a very good texture, but it is still in fact a texture. And so then that's the end of this tutorial. If it helped you at all, give it a like. If it didn't help you, well, then give it a dislike it. If you want to see more by me, subscribe. Thank you and have a good day, or night, or whatever time it is. I guess it really just depends on when you decided to watch this video, but most importantly, have fun. Thank you and goodbye.